don't really have any other updates, so I'll just open it up.
With Devon Bailey, what makes a player? What's the advantage of having a bigger slot receiver? And when did you kind of notice that there's a trend where that position kind of take over? When did teams start doing it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know I'd have to look back and spend a little time looking at the historical references, but big body. It's the same reason we talk about tight ends and being, a quarterback's best friend. There's big guys, there's catch radius, there's a little bit of a ability to play with your body and box people out in contested catch situations, and so those guys show up a little bit more in the middle of the field, and so I think a lot of it has to do with the same reason we talk about tight ends, in the middle of the field, and so we've been around a few. Remember Keenan in L.A. He was a bigger body guy, did a great job in the slot, and Bailey certainly done a lot of that when we looked at the Denver film.
Is there value to that specifically on kind of gotta have it situations third down?
Got to have it. So you're going to be in contested football, and you're going to be one-on-ones, and teams are going to tend to play man or help, or there's going to be you're not going to get access in those situations, and so physical players matter in those.
Even with the bigger body being added, I'm saying this, the relatively slowest, if you will, 40 time on the wide receiver was like 4.47.
Yeah.
With the speed that you have, how does that kind of give you an advantage with the scheme that you also look at football speed?
There's a lot of speed in that room, and certainly it's something we obviously have to lean into. And so as we build our plans in the coming weeks, certainly it's something I think that's popped up throughout training camp, those guys having the ability to get downfield, and it's something we'll have to utilize for sure.
Is it something you came in feeling like you wanted to build that room that way, or did that just kind of happen?
I think it happens as you're just accumulating talented players, and there's a number of different ways you can go about this. Every receiver room's built differently, and so you got to be able to lean into the strengths. And B. Cook's being available, was an awesome opportunity for us. We felt like that upgrade our team, upgrade our leadership. He can still play. He has speed as well, and so that's a great value. Tipton did an awesome job through preseason, getting downfield, making plays downfield, and we feel like we just got a ton of depth in this room right now, which is really exciting.
What's your philosophy on the receiver role? Is it kind of like this is your one, you do a little bit of everything? Does anybody do a little bit of everything?
Ultimately, we always like to compare it to like a basketball team, right? There's different sizes in the starting five. There's different ways to approach it. And so you're continuing to try and create matchups as you go. Naturally, there's usually a tier system to this. There's usually, ones, twos, threes, fours, whatever it may be. What percentage each guy plays has been different in every place. We've been places where we've leaned really heavy into just the one and the two, and other places maybe a little more balanced. And I do think the depth is going to be really valuable for us as the season goes on. We got 8 guys currently in the receiver room, and all those guys are going to be playing on Sundays, and we're going to feel great about all 8 of them.
Did you all fill out the last 2 spots that you practiced?
We still have 2 spots available.
Is Trey Palmer an option to return fund?
He does have it in his background, yes. And so, obviously today will be his first day out on the field, so we'll build him as we go.
Where do you plan on Taysom taking his meetings, and what does it mean if he's in the room?
Yeah, Taysom's obviously one of one in this league. He's plays a lot of positions. He spends probably most of his time in the quarterback room, just because the quarterback room is the room that kind of talks about all aspects of football. And so, it's a room he spent most of his career in. And so he just does a lot of different, plays a lot of different roles, a lot of different styles. Certainly when you look in that room and you got Scott Tolzien, you got Nuss, and Scott Lenahan's in there. We got just other guys to share those conversations and connect all the dots for Taysom. So he's been awesome this offseason.
I know the answer to this, but just strictly for the sake of clarity, it's not like he's going to throw on a helmet in 4 weeks and go out there and compete with Spencer.
No. Taysom's done an awesome job. He's got his role that we'll build as we go, and obviously once he becomes available on the field, we're all excited for that. But there's a process to this when you're coming off of an injury like his, and so when that time presents itself, we'll handle it accordingly.
We didn't see full-on push in the preseason, although it looked like someone was trying to push Clyde. Is that something you would consider proprietary information? That's the kind of play you would want to show in the preseason, or is that when you guys haven't installed or worked on it?
I don't know. I mean, it's a unique play. There's a skill set required for that play, and what Philly does, most people try and replicate, and we've tried it at other places, and it's not the same replication that is in Philly. And Philly's done a phenomenal job with that play, and they've invested a ton of time, and a lot of it, the offensive line, the quarterback, all the pieces associated with that. And so, certainly they're the ones that are doing it, and all of us have tried to replicate in some way, and usually it's really at the end of the day it's their play.
How close is this offensive line to have the ability to replicate the work of the show?
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that. I mean, we haven't done that. So we'll see where it's at as we go into situational football, and obviously, Philly's done a phenomenal job with it. They've earned it.
What's the level of confidence you have that Trevor Pitt could do anything?
We'll see about the week 1 thing. We got a few days off this weekend, and then we'll kind of see what the timelines present themselves for these guys. But he's done an awesome job. He's out of the boot now, and so that's really cool to see. And so we'll just see how these timelines play out leading up to week 1.
Now that, once you do pick a starter, Spencer being the starter, how much does that change, your menu of plays? Is there, you guys start going through that now and, really picking out the ones that, really fit in? And, is he involved in that conversation at all as well?
Probably starting next week as we start really building the plan. Right now it's just kind of introductory phase as far as what we're looking at from an Arizona perspective and some of the situational stuff we talked about. When he's the starting quarterback, we're going to lean into those conversations and what he's most comfortable with and what we've invested a lot of time in. And ultimately, it's about him getting all the reps and getting ready to go on Sunday.
Fellas, building on that, how much can a guy like Alvin Kamara help Spencer Rattler settle in?
Yeah, we're excited. Alvin's, he's had 1 play in preseason, and he's ready to go. And so he's done an awesome job all offseason. He's obviously still a premier player in this league. We're going to expect a lot out of him. He's going to perform at a really high level, and so he's going to have a huge impact on our team.
For you, do you still have that, I guess, that excitement as a play caller, drawing up, as you're going into this plans with the Cardinals of what you can use, how you can utilize Alvin Kamara? Is it similar to, I guess, that creative process you had when you had Saquon?
It's really exciting. He has a rich history of just different roles and opportunities he's created in this league, and a lot of people have spent the last X amount of years trying to find the Alvins of the world. And I think that's the really cool thing about our roster. We got Alvin, we got Taysom, we got some of these pieces that the rest of the league's trying to replicate these guys in their own rosters, and so we're fortunate to have them, and they're going to do a great job for us.
Considering some of the skill position player talent you have, Alvin, Chris, guys are kind of the ball in their hands. Just generally speaking, as a play caller, how does one try to create space for yards after the catch? What buttons are you trying to push to make that available?
Yeah, from a play design, you're trying to create space for these guys, and from just a play calling sequencing, you're trying to get as many touches and opportunities for these guys. And that'll come as we build the game plan and look into how best it suits Arizona. But ultimately, we want to get as many opportunities for these skill guys as they can. Just get the ball in their hands, and good things will happen.
How beneficial is it's happened in the last couple of years or so, it's more consistent, but the fact that you and all NFL teams get this many bye week before week 1, how beneficial is that when it comes to especially installing a new system?
I think there's good value for the league. I think everyone sees the opportunity it presents. Training camps are, there's a lot of stress associated with training camps. You got to push through some uncomfortable moments. It's a really hard training camp. You get through preseason, and I think it's a chance for everyone to kind of reset. The roster gets set. We get a couple really good days of work here, and then these guys kind of get a few days just to get away from it. Kind of, guys do need that. They need that from a physical standpoint, from a psychological standpoint. And then Monday they'll be back in here, and it's kind of a clean slate. We're right into a game week, and it'll be a ton of fun.
You're already having that opportunity to install the offense for guys like Devon and Trey. How much more beneficial is it for them?
Yeah, we do have a few moving pieces. Like you said, a couple of these receivers just got here. These yesterday and today are big opportunities for them. They'll naturally have to invest probably a little bit more time over the weekend just to get acclimated to the system and have a few more conversations than the veterans. But, it's a good timeline for everyone.
Do you have any update on Alonzo Taylor?
Yeah, he's just continuing to go through the rehab process. So, he's doing a nice job. Feel like he's right where he needs to be.
When it comes to the kind of conversations with Spencer, adding things to the game plan that he's come with, is that something that you kind of set aside specific time to do? What's your process of doing that, or is that just part of the quarterback's room?
A lot of it's organic. Some of it's structured. I think it's just throughout the week, just having as many conversations as we can. And so, we're just kind of exiting that training camp phase, which is, there's a lot of stuff going on, and now we'll get into the game weeks. And, for myself, I'll probably spend a lot more time with the quarterbacks next week than I have all of training camp, which will be fun just because, it's just a different timeline, different obligation a little bit once you get into the season. And so, you're just continuing to have those conversations, why we're putting something in, what's the objective, we'll practice it, we'll walk it through, we'll talk it. Ultimately, I'm a firm believer, guys that have confidence in certain plays, they're going to make those plays work. And so, we got to build that all week. All good? All right. Thanks, guys.